Jerry, how are you, sir?
Fine, Scott. How are you doing?
Wonderful. Is it just like you need a turnstile there at the front door and a take a number? Is it like crazy busy?
Yeah, it's been pretty wild today. We've had 4 or 5 people waiting most of the day. So that, of course, that's always. I always say that busyness is one of our best friends. It helps us keep our jobs.
Exactly right. Spoken like a true capitalist there, by golly.
Yeah, right.
Now, what's the price on gold right now?
Gold right now is $1,830 an ounce. It's dropped down this morning. It was up close to $1,900, but it's dropped off some today, but that's just a temporary thing. The problem behind this whole thing is the international banking, and this, in 1980, it was more of a national rush, the gold. This is a worldwide rush because of the currency failings of so many countries, and of course with our deficit spending and so forth, it's causing people to look to precious metals as a safe haven for their money.
Yeah.
In fact, that's one of the better, or one of the few ways that you can protect your assets is to invest into precious metals.
Yeah, now some people think, for instance, your 401k, let's talk a little bit about buying gold as an investment here first. They think it has to be, stocks or mutual funds or bonds or whatever, but there's a way to incorporate a part or all of your investment portfolio using some gold as well, isn't there?
Right, that's true. The thing with the 401k on the physical, and if you hold physical gold in a 401k, it has to be held by a third party, and that's the stipulation. We don't actually do any of that ourselves, here, but we can direct you to the people that would be the depository to hold that your 401k gold or silver.
Now, if I want to buy gold as an investment, I don't have to actually take possession of the gold. You can, right? And what is your recommendation on them? I mean, do you think people?
Well, we recommend that you have your physical gold and silver in your possession because back in 1980, in the Carter administration, they passed that Presidential Emergency Powers Act. I think it was a bill 11078. It was a House bill, I believe, and what that states is that if the president declared martial law, he would also have the authority to freeze checking, savings, and safety deposit boxes. A lot of people aren't aware of that. But if we should get into a martial law situation, which is possible with the rioting and stuff that's going on overseas, that could happen here. And if it does, we could be in a martial law situation, and you can't get at your precious metals if it's, if they freeze checking and savings and safety deposit boxes. So we recommend that you have your precious metals in your possession. How you do that, you have to be creative, and that's our recommendation. That there are people in town that sell safes and so forth. But that's good, sound policy, as an individual to make sure that you're hedging against inflation by buying precious metals, and also that you keep them in your possession.
By the way, every time you hear that little beep, that's somebody walking in or out the door. So it's I wasn't joking when I said it was like a turnstile out there with folks coming in and out of the gold and silver exchange. Are there more people that are buying right now, or are they looking to sell gold and take advantage of the price?
The last few weeks, most of our business has been people selling jewelry and unwanted or unneeded, or just cashing in jewelry because the price of metals is so high, and they're walking out with some awful nice paydays as a result. Most people express real surprise as to how much they actually get for that stuff.
So let's talk about the selling part for a moment. What is an example of things where people might have around the home that has gold in them that maybe they're not using or whatever? What kinds of things are people bringing in, and then explain how that works?
Glass rings are one thing. Sterling silverware we're seeing quite a bit of that. In order for that to qualify, it has to say sterling on the back of the handle of the knife, or not the knife, but on the spoon or fork, and either says 925 or sterling. And then we pay pretty good money on that stuff. We're real competitive. Our prices are competitive nationwide, so we stay on top of that.
So, in other words, a class ring. Okay, I don't. Some people love their class rings, and others, it was a passing fad. They wore it for a year or two in college, and it's long gone. It's sitting there. What would the average class ring bring if with today's price?
Well, if it's a ladies' class ring, you're looking at probably a minimum of $50, and a man's would be 80, 75 or more. So we get some rings that a little heavier rings that we're paying $250 for them. So a lot of those run in the women's they run 6 to 10 grams, and the men's run probably 10 to sometimes 25 grams, depending on and then we pay according to grams.
So if I have a necklace and it's a certain carat gold necklace, I bring it in, you take a look at it, you determine how much actual gold is in it, and then are able to give a price based on the current market.
We can test them two ways. We can test them electronically, which will tell us what carat weight it is, or we can test with acid, which again will tell us by a process of elimination. Will tell us what the carat weight of it is. I just just gave a guy a price on a heavy rope chain, came to $484. So those things. One day I bought a necklace from a guy. It was a pretty heavy one, $750 some. So that stuff. It's pretty amazing how much value there is in that with the gold at these prices.
And you mentioned sterling silverware that maybe is just gathering dust somewhere, not being used. Silver obviously is up there in price too. It's not gold, but it's still a healthy price right now. What is average silverware set that's actual sterling?
Okay, a set of say 8-piece will run somewhere between 11 and 1,500 roughly.
Holy buckets.
Yeah.
So a lot of dollars, especially when you're talking about stuff that just not used or whatever. It doesn't have any sentimental value, and people just it kind of prompts them to sort of look around and find things and come up with some dollars. Now, what do you do with it then, Jerry? What do you sell it on the open market? Is it melted? What happens to the gold in all these products?
Most of this that we buy, we resell some of it, but we don't get the traffic here where we're located as we did when we were in the Columbia Mall back in the 80s. But we send most of it in to get melted down. Silver the same way. Most of it goes in to get melted down. But we have a lot of what I guess in the used car business you call pre-owned. So we'd say pre-owned jewelry. And if you want a real good buy on jewelry, this is the place to come because we buy that stuff, in the melt value area, and we don't make a very big markup in that stuff. So you'll probably pay less than 30% of what you'd pay for new price.
Very interesting. Now, everywhere, literally, you cannot turn on a cable news program, a radio talk show, open up a newspaper without somebody suggesting, hey, do you have some of these things? Call this number, stuff them in a Federal Express envelope, go to this website. What I really want folks to understand is how long you've been doing this, how much you pay versus what they pay, and how really that trust factor of looking at somebody eyeball to eyeball, 2124 Gateway Drive in Grand Forks in your case, or picking up the phone and giving you a call makes a big difference. First of all, how long you been at the precious metal game?
We started this in 1982 in the Columbia Mall, my brother and I, and then he passed on in '96. But I've been at it now. This is 29 years. Kind of interesting. The other day, one of my sons who works for a computer company in the cities, he was on the computer and he found our credit rating with BB Better Business Bureau. And he said, Jerry, this is amazing. And here they rated A+ to F, and we were rated A+. And in all those years, it doesn't show one complaint that was, against us. I'm sure there were people that maybe weren't totally satisfied for one reason or another, but you always get those kind that no matter what you do, it won't, it isn't good enough. But I was pretty proud of that, an A-plus rating over all those years.
No question about it. That's what I mean. I worry about folks, being taken advantage of, and it really helps when you're looking somebody in the eye and been at this a long time, not afraid to answer your questions. That's why I say this is sort of gold 101. If you just never have done that before, and where do I begin? You talk to somebody, like Jerry and his team there. They're very trustworthy. They've been at this a long time and well respected, and you're going to get a fair shake. So whether you're buying or selling, that's something to think about without question. And
one of the things, if a lot of those ads you see in the paper were mail order, you mail your stuff off. Some of that is pretty incredible. We had one situation where this guy brought in. He'd sent in $232. He had it evaluated from a dealer over in Duluth, and he sent it in to this company, and he got a check back for $29. But throughout the years here in Grand Forks, being we live here with amongst folks, and I'm also in the fireworks business, I'm generous Jerry in that, and we try, we make it a policy to treat people fairly.
And you do it well. There's no question about it. So, folks, if you're buying and want to ultimately, bring some stability to a very uncertain time in this country, you look at the stock market, you look at the economy, and you wonder what's coming. It's a great way to say, okay, I own it. I know it's there. I can see it. I can touch it. It's mine. Jerry and his team can help you there and hedge against inflation, everything else. And again, folks, think about this as an investment. I mean, $740 in 2007, and it's nipping at $2,000 now for an ounce of gold. I mean, that's just absolutely extraordinary, and that's something to think about. And so, on the buy side as well, as far as Jerry's concerned, you're selling. Find some things and put a few extra bucks in your pocket. That can never hurt as well. So, great way to go there. 2124 Gateway Drive in Grand Forks, or you can call them at 701-746-9950. That's the telephone number, 701-746-9950, and they will answer all of your questions. Thank you, Jerry. Good to talk to you.
Thank you, Scott. Good talking to you. God bless you all.
God bless you, too. We'll let you get back to those customers, by golly, at the Gold and Silver Exchange on Gateway Drive in Grand Forks. All right, we need a break. When we come back, Todd Sando's going to join us. He's the state engineer.